just like we categorized fraud into different types, we mentioned one of the categories we mentioned is fraud could be a corporate fraud or an employee fraud, talking about the person carrying it out. Then also we said fraud could be asset misappropriation, or it could be corruption, or it could be financial statement fraud. Then also we categorize fraud on the basis of the fraud schemes under different industries. In this class, we'll be looking at the types of fraudsters themselves. We are categorizing fraudsters based on their attributes in this class. We can see in previous classes, I occasionally mentioned the accidental fraudsters and the predatory fraudsters. These are the two categories of fraudsters that we have. Who is an accidental fraudster? An accidental fraudster is like an unintentional fraudster. Something led him there. It wasn't his really intention to be a fraudster. An accidental fraudster is a first-time fraud offender in most cases. Mostly a person known to be of good character, doing something out of character because of a bad financial decision. Something that you know that this is not this person's nature. It's not in this person to do this. He's just playing a role out of his character because of particular reasons. That's why when we were talking about the fraud triangles, I said when we are talking about accidental fraudster, we'll be talking about pressure. He's pressured into a particular thing. It's pressure and circumstances that led him, something he thought he could not resolve by legal means. Maybe he just ran into debt, he was unable to fulfill his obligation, his wife got sick, something at the domestic level in most cases that he thought was out of his league to handle all by himself. And in most cases, he felt somehow constrained to share it. He felt uncomfortable to share it with a third party, and that led him to fraud. It is as a result of building or mounting pressure in one quarter of his life or the other. That is an accidental fraudster. The second type of fraudster is a predatory fraudster. Like you can see from the diagram here, we are looking at somebody like an animal, a wild animal chasing after a prey. Intentional. You won't say it was an accident that this animal wants to get rid of this or eat this for lunch. It was an intentional, well-calculated act. So a predatory fraudster is a predator. That is his lifestyle. That is what gives him joy. So he's not necessarily pressured, but he is motivated. And we made mention of the different things that can result into motivation, that can bring motivation under the slide where we consider minds. What is minds? We're talking about money, M for money, the desire for money, then wrong ideologies, I for ideology, so on like that. So then we talk about evil ego. Some people have this funny ego. We talk about coercion. Maybe he's under coercion. Somebody coerced him into doing it. So now, a predatory fraudster is an innate fraudster, mostly a serial one. This is not his first time. He's used to it. Even the first day he stepped into your organization, he's already calculating what loophole can bring about him executing his fraudulent act. Who is not necessarily pressured, but just believes he can get away with it. He believes he can get away with it. He believes he has this ego that when he knows how to cover his track very well. That is a predatory fraudster for you. That is a predatory fraudster for you. So we'll be looking at an accidental fraudster, a case study of an accidental fraudster. Let's consider somebody called Mr. CH. We are trying to hide his identity. What's happened to Mr. CH? Mr. CH is just a regular banker, a marketing staff. Let me share the story quickly and briefly. This is a true life story. He was caught in a Nigerian bank a long time ago. He was caught by one of his very good customers, an high net worth customer that come and collect some funds from my house, a foreign currency, dollars. By the time you converted it with the exchange rate, then the amount was going to about 3 million, and 3 million naira was still a substantial amount then. So what happened? It was after close of business, as they were rounding up. He was already starting his car, about to go home, when the call came through. And these are high net worth customer. You know the way marketing is and was then, especially. So he didn't have any way to resist or to say no, I will come tomorrow or something like that. Once the customer calls you, even in the middle of the night, you go, especially when he's an high net worth customer. So he had to leave. They've already closed the branch, they've closed the vault, they've batched their cash for the day and all that. So he left. When he got to the man, he took the money and he went home, because it's just in dollars. It's just like in something you could even put in pocket. But then it was meant to resume to work tomorrow, the next day, and pay it inside the man's account for the man. The man was traveling out briefly to come back and meet his money. So what happened? One of his fraudulent and hooligan cousins was around with him for an holiday, for a brief holiday and visit. Then maybe he perceived the money in his pocket or something. Overnight, the guy was able to make away with this money and vanished into the thin air, leaving Mr. CH, that his original salary as at then was just about 110,000 naira, with the burden of paying 3 million naira. Even if he's paying with his old salary, how many years will it take him to pay? And the bank, if you must know, they don't tolerate stories. You can't go and come up with some cockamamie story that your cousin stole the money from you and all that. And you could not as well face the customer and tell him that bullshit. It wasn't going to fly. Nobody will ever believe you. Even if they believe, the responsibility still rests on you, because despite the fact that the bank knows that or has it as a policy that you don't, under any circumstances, take a customer's money home, they know they do these things just to satisfy their customer. But the buck still rests on you. The person that misplaced the money will definitely be liable. And in such a case, it could even lead to arresting him and all that, apart from the fact that he would definitely lose his job. His wife was unemployed. He has children in schools, in private schools, and he has dependents on him as well. There is accommodation bill to be paid, feeding money and all that. So where was he going to turn? He considered it when he got to work the other day. Ruffled, disturbed and all that. By the time when he was like considering the way out, he thought even if he was going to get a loan for 4 years, repayment period and all that, and he starts repaying all over and all over again, by the time it would take him to process the loan, sometimes on average then it took 1 month, if not more, before staffs were extended loan, because it's a queue system. A lot of staffs were asking for loan and they could only give as many per time. So what did he do? He said, okay, while waiting for his loan, he will go and apply, but while waiting for 1 month, the guy will be back in the country in the next few days, maybe 5 working days or so, and he will come for his money. He knows the pattern of the guy. And what happened? He said, what was he going to do? He had to devise another means. He had another customer, an elderly man that he doesn't even know maybe the man is still alive, because the man doesn't come to bank. It's been more than a year and a half that the guy has ever called or stepped into the bank. He has some good money inside his account, more than 3 million naira and far above that. But the money has been lying fallow there. And he has access to the man's checkbook and payment is, because the man didn't even collect his checkbook to start with. The man didn't collect his ATM card that was processed for him, and he has all this. He could find a way of forging the as an account officer. By the counter, nobody will query him for doing what he was doing. So he quickly devised that means that, okay, if this man has not stepped or operated this account for more than 1 year, maybe 1 year plus, there is high probability that he would not still do it or operate or withdraw in the next 1 month, that it will take him to get his facility out to repay the money he lost. So what did he do? He took the 3 million naira, changed it into dollars, and paid it into the domiciliary account of the first customer. But as it is with when you do things like this, the old man showed up in the banking hall to withdraw all his money, not just half of it, not just part of it, all his money. It was as if somebody gave him a tip-off, but it was just a coincidence. And he showed up 2 days after, and the bubble busted. And what happened? The man lost his job. The man was asked to repay. He was even locked up for a while. The family was in trouble and all that mess. That is an accidental fraudster for you. Something led to it. It wasn't planned. There was even the case of this finance manager in one of the Nigerian organizations too. During the MMM period, people in Nigeria or even in other countries would know MMM, this Ponzi scheme, where you put in an amount and you get 30% within a week or two sometimes. So what happened? During the MMM glory days, it was going fine. Some of his friends were convincing him, I bought Venza from MMM, won't you come and do and all that? So there is this 10 million naira that has been stacked. He was the finance manager. This 10 million naira that has been stacked in their vaults to be used for something, but they needed it in cash to be used for something, but they've not used it for a long while. It's just been there. It's just been there for more than 8 months. It's just been there. And MMM only takes 2 weeks. So along the line, he had a financial issue, something he needed to solve, and he wasn't going to just take the company's money. He just took the 10 million naira with the what's it called, with the idea or with the expectation that he could get at least 3 million naira or 3 point something million naira from the deal by the time his MMM cycle matures. So he quickly put it, expecting his payment in the next 2 weeks. But as the situation will turn out, MMM got problem around this period, and their website was even off the internet for a while, and a whole lot of mess. To cut the long story short, the money never came back. A month after, there was need for this money in the organization, and it was just like a tip of the finger thing. Mr. So, can we have that money? It's needed right now and right now. And he was the only one with the the key to the safe of the organization. So it became a matter of what happened and all that. There was no justifiable explanation. The MMM money wasn't forthcoming, and he had to be held responsible. There was a whole lot of mess for him. These are accidental fraudsters. They were first-time fraudsters, respected people, family people, people that have never been in these shoes before, but something pressured them into doing it, and they fall victim, and they became a fraudster, so to say. So that is the type of fraudster that we refer to as an accidental fraudster. From the word accident, it wasn't really intentional. It wasn't, although don't mistake it for the fact that they planned it. They saw there was a pressure and they saw the opportunity. Like for Mr. CH now, the banker, the opportunity was this man doesn't come to the banking hall and his money has been there for long. I don't even know, maybe he's still alive. That was the opportunity. And other. The rationalization could have been that it wasn't really my fault, and it was my cousin that took away the money. It wasn't like I did it intentionally. The same thing with the MMM guy, the finance manager. So that is about accidental fraudster. We'll be going in the next class to see case studies about a predatory fraudster, an intentional, willful fraudster that is just out there to defraud.